Mrs. Verra Mbinglo, what an honor to be with you today.
What an honor as well.
Thank you so much for granting me this interview.
Thank you. Welcome.
Dear viewers, we are here for a very, very, very special interview. We're here to interview Mrs. Verra Mbinglo. This is a lady that has hardworking, that has succeeded in life, and I thought, it was my initiative to betake myself right down here to Fort Worth to interview her, to ask her what is the secret to success. She's a happy lady. She's a happy lady, and I think every lady on earth has to emulate her example. She's an experienced and licensed financial professional helping individuals. That's one thing I really admire about Mrs. Verra. She wants to help. That's how I got to meet her. I came here with a friend, and she got to know about me. I wanted to help me to meet up to, So I'm interviewing her from a personal experience. She wants to help individuals, families, and businesses to understand their financial situation. She's so interested in the financial situation, especially in a country like the United States. It's good to know your financial situation. Yes. Otherwise, something happens to you, you're just totally broken. So she does that more. She helps to develop, personalized plans to help clients meet their short-terms and mid-terms, long-term financial goals. She's also experienced in areas of financial analysis. She can go through your financial analysis to advise you on how to improve, if you are not on a very nice level. And furthermore, she can also help to financially plan your investments, insurance, especially insurance, financial education, estate planning, and management, asset protection, budget, wills, trust, much and more and more and more. If I start talking about her, we are not going to finish today. So let's get over to Mrs. Verra. How did all this begin? I want to go to your beginning, your humble beginning. Yes. Where were you born?
I was actually born in Cameroon. I am from the village of So, if you know the kingdom of So. Yeah. I'm actually been blessed because I'm the princess.
Oh,
okay. My granddad was the king,
okay,
and my dad being a prince and the daughter of a prince makes you a princess. So
okay.
We grew up in the palace with humble beginnings, and it was such an amazing ride. And I've been blessed to have siblings,
okay,
6 siblings, by the way, from my parents. My dad, on the other hand, being a prince, was also an electrical engineer. He actually worked with telecommunication a lot when I was growing up, and eventually started his own business, a telecommunication business in Cameroon. Then my mom, who has been such an impact in our lives growing up, she was actually an entrepreneur as well. She owned her own tailoring school. She had a tailoring workshop. She used to train young girls and ladies how to become independent, financially own their own businesses, help women. My mom was all about beauty. So she wanted to always make women look so beautiful, as you can see.
I can see you for an example.
Yes. We grew up in that life of our parents raising us in the mindset of being independent, being able to build something for yourself, being able to help others become better. And that was what my mom prided herself with. And in addition to doing all that, they made sure they had us go to schools, which was all more Christian related, because the values were super important to our parents. So from primary education, I went to Catholic primary school.
Okay, where was that?
It was Bayele in Bamenda.
Okay.
We call it Bayele. It's Catholic school Bayele. So it was really a great ride with all my siblings. We all went through that Catholic
So what year
school.
are we talking about?
We're talking about 1985, 86.
Okay,
yeah, when I was a baby. Yeah, when I started school.
I see.
And then from Catholic school Bayele, I went to secondary school in GBHS Bamenda. You won't believe it. So I went through government secondary school for my first cycle, where I acquired my bachelor's degree, and later on went back to Christian school. So I went to St. Bede's College for high school.
Wow, that's interesting.
So I had my O levels from GBHS, and I went to high school in St. Bede's College. That's where, after acquiring my advanced level certificate.
GC, it was GC then?
Yes, GC was O levels, then GC advanced level. Yes.
Where was that? That was in St. Bede's.
St. Bede's College.
Oh, wow. So you're an extra of St. Bede's?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
It's a very celebrated school, secondary school.
It is. And we've been blessed to go through that. And I went from St. Bede's College.
Yes.
I went further for my university studies at the University.
So St. Bede's St. Bede's, you did ordinary level and advanced level.
No, I did ordinary level in GBHS.
Okay, GBHS. That was from. Can I get the year? 1980. I just want to have an idea of the
around
time.
1993 to 97.
Okay,
Yes.
93 to 97.
Yes, and then from 97 to 2000,
Yes.
like 98 2000, I went through St. Bede's College.
Okay.
Then
It was
from
2 years.
2 years.
High school.
Yes,
Okay.
2 years high school.
Before we continue, can you tell us your some anecdotes about St. Bede's? I know it's a very celebrated Catholic boarding school.
Yes.
So what are some of those values you learned that you will never forget?
So many. I want to first of all thank my parents for having made that possible, because each and every sibling of mine, all 6 of us, went through St. Bede's College.
Wow.
Right?
That's a huge investment.
It is. And my siblings actually went for the first secondary from 1 to 5, and then high school. So we kind of had an alternation from all of us. Those that went to public school, they came to St. Bede's College, and then some of them went to St. Bede's College, then went to Casbambili. So it was like a reverse.
Okay.
But while in St. Bede's College, we learned the aspect of togetherness.
Okay. Community.
Community. It was such an impact to us to realize that if you want to go far,
Yes.
right,
Yes.
you need to go as a team, right? If you want to go fast, you can go alone, but you're not going to go very far.
Okay.
So we learned to live as a community. We learned to be able to live in a dormitory with so many girls and have to do with so many different personalities. You know, when
Okay.
you're home, you go to public school or GBHS, you come back home, you have your safety net.
That's
But
true.
now you have to live with these women in a dormitory for months
And
years, and you have to adapt to their styles, you have to adapt to everything.
Yes.
So I think that was really something that stood out for me,
Okay.
because now it really helped me more with human relationship. And the other thing was the Christian aspect of it, being able to really get good at our faith. Because get to know God in a very much deeper way than just going to church every Sunday. Because now we were really taught in the aspect of spirituality, understanding God and being able to know that nothing in life happens without that faith. And it didn't matter if you were Catholic, you were Baptist, coming to St. Bede's College, we all had that unifying aspect.
Okay.
And I love the music. I love our
Right, the
anthem.
choir.
Yes, the choir. It was always fun until today. Sometimes when we sit together as Sabesans and we just start singing Obi the Venerable, or we're singing Sabeko, it's just like it just unifies us. We
Okay.
feel like, yes, this is it.
I can imagine how joyful, that satisfaction,
Yes.
which you can buy.
Yes, that's right.
Wow, that's powerful. That's powerful. So you did your advanced level in. Did you specialize in some specific courses?
I did art.
You did
So
art,
I did
so-
literature.
Okay.
Yes.
You did church history.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes, so that was what I had my advanced level. So I went to University of Chicago. From there I went to Lekelefac.
Tell us about Waikele.
The University of Yaoundé.
Yes.
Yes.
University one.
That was the very first time in my life I had to go live somewhere completely on my own.
Oh,
right?
far away from home.
Far away from
Yeah,
home
from
too,
Amanda.
because it was about 6 hours.
Yes,
just drive to go to school, and mom and dad are not that close, so you can just run home when you wanted
Oh.
to. So, but it was a very great experience for me, because it started to mold and grow me up as a woman. Independent woman,
Yes.
being able now to think for myself. I don't have to just feel like I can run to mom, I can
Mommy
run to
all
dad.
the time.
Yes, so
To figure things out.
to figure
by
things
yourself.
out. And then secondly, I left from a English part of Cameroon. Think
Okay.
about it.
Oh.
Then I'm going to University of Yaoundé,
Which was totally French.
which was predominantly French.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
I'll say 90% of everything was in French.
Oh.
So the instructors, everything we were taught were in French. sometimes in our exams, the question is asked in French. You can write the answers in English,
right.
but there was no translation to the question. So you had to figure those things out.
Wow.
So it was actually quite a ride. It had to make me study extra hard, double, because I didn't want to be there for more than 3 years. I needed to come out with a bachelor's in art
And move on.
within 3 years. And as God would do it, I was blessed enough to do that. So in 3 years,
So we're talking about 2000 and from 2000 to 2003.
yes, around 2000, 2002.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, 2003.
So what did you do in Guatemala?
So I did history.
Oh,
I did,
history.
yes,
Wow.
bachelor's in art in history.
Okay.
Yes, specifically a bachelor's in art in history.
Interesting.
And after acquiring
Your bachelor in art.
yes, I enrolled to do diplomacy.
Wow.
So I wanted to do a master's in diplomacy because I was like, I want to be a diplomat. I want to travel the world, right?
Oh. And you enrolled in Guatemala?
Yes, in Guatemala. So I got accepted into the diplomacy course. Yes, and started just for about 2 months.
Okay.
And we got a visa. Excuse me.
Sorry. Have some water. My dear viewers, it's really hot here. We're in Texas. But I know the sun makes the video extremely bright. I know you are enjoying it.
Is it a way to stop for a second?
Now we're going to get a break and we're going to be back, my friends.
Yeah. I just need to grab some hot water.
Dear viewers, we were for a very short break, and like I said at the beginning, but I am conducting this interview to Mrs. Verra Mbinglo on behalf of the Nchumbonga Lekelefac Research Institute. This is a serious research institute that approaches and requests interview to people who have left an impact in society. So it's important we know what we are doing. It's a very important exercise to discover the success of this great lady in front of me, and so we can emulate her example. So before we went for break, we were talking, Mrs. Verra was talking to us about her diplomacy course at a university after her Bachelor in Arts in Guatemala.
Yes.
Could you continue from there, please?
Yeah, so I did enroll into the Masters in Diplomacy, International Relations and Diplomacy, to be precise.
Wow.
And one thing that, like you asked before, what was it that Guatemala was special? Because that was actually where I met my husband, who is my husband today.
Dr. Hillary.
Yes, Dr. Hillary Asa. We met each other in Yaoundé and became really great friends. We actually went to the same high school, St. Bede's College, but for some reason our path didn't really connect.
There.
Yes, so it actually connected in Guatemala, and in the course of me starting this program, he left for Germany, and then I later on got a visa to relocate to the United States.
I see.
Yes, so that was my journey.
So, Dr. Hillary, did you ever know him as a student in school at St. Bede's?
No.
Okay.
We did.
There was no encounter.
Yes, I was coming in when he was leaving St. Bede's, and but I knew him as a international student in Yaoundé while he was doing his German course.
Oh yes,
to move to Germany.
Institute.
Yes. Yeah.
So that was where you knew him, at the International Language Center.
No, because him and my sister were together in high school, in university. My older sister Angeline.
I see.
So they were both in St. Bede's College, and so when I was in the University of Yaoundé 1, my sister was in the University of Yaoundé 2. So we had coming to my room all the time. Her friends who visit, and he was one of them, and that's how. And then it so happened that he had a roommate that happened to be my classmate too. That was Harry from St. Bede's College.
Interesting. What a coincidence.
Got connected, yes.
So we've gotten to the level of you beginning the diplomacy course and then moving to Germany. Before we continue, what role did your family play to get you to this point?
Okay, so like I said, being in the university, becoming more independent was one of the things that I know my dad really pride on.
Okay.
And getting us a visa to come to the United States, you know what it takes to go through all
It's
that.
not
So
easy.
my parents did all they could, and we're fortunate enough to come from the royal family. So that was also some of the impact and what facilitated our moving to the United States, me and my siblings.
Okay.
And when we came to the United States, to tell you the truth, I thought it was gonna be like a level playing field. Like I thought it was gonna be easy, not
Like
level.
that's the impression they give us back home.
Yes.
That this is just a place of honey and
Honey and
no,
yeah,
that dollars
sugar.
on the trees.
Exactly. That's what I thought. And growing up, especially when we have multiple grandparents,
Yes.
multiple grandmothers, step grandmothers, and we just had abundance, right?
Yes.
So I came to the U.S. now, and I quickly realized there's no princess, there's no queen.
Right.
You're your own person. It's a level playing field. Nobody knows who you are or cares who you are.
Exactly.
So you have to make a map for yourself, whoever you want to be, and
Wow. Interesting.
and in the course of thinking about what I wanted to become when I
Yes.
came to the U.S.,
Yes.
I then got interested in healthcare.
I see.
And one of the things that really drove me to healthcare was because while I was in Yaoundé University, I used to visit one of my aunts that had a clinic. And
Okay.
sometimes I go and I help out there, but it was really, really my drive at the time. But when I came here, it
Yes.
then dawned on me like, what my aunt did made a difference in so many people's life. Maybe I could go to that path. And that's how I ended up enrolling into Jacksonville University in
Yes.
Florida.
I have it right here.
Yes, when we moved to US, I was with my brothers, my siblings in Chicago, but I decided to go to Jacksonville in
In
Florida.
where you did a Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Yes, I went back again. I did the second bachelor's but this time was bachelor's in science. My previous bachelor's was in art, in history.
How was the switch from arts to science?
I know, right? It's like night and day.
Right? You had
Yes.
to really struggle to meet up
Yes, you had to.
Wow,
You had to start
that's
doing all the
amazing.
biologies and
the equations and
yes,
oh.
yes. But it was quite an interesting ride going
Okay.
through Jacksonville University because it was a private college, very small school, and great instructors, and the community in Jacksonville was just amazing.
Okay, outstanding.
And through that, I met some very great friends from other parts of the world. Like I met one of my very close friends to this day. She's called Fatima.
Okay.
She's from Sierra Leone, by the way. So
I
she's one
see.
of the
Fatima.
very influential people that got into my life when I went to Jacksonville, and we became friends. And she just became family to
Family.
me.
Wow.
Yes.
That's interesting.
And from Jacksonville University,
Yes, you did a Masters of Science in Nursing Executive, Chamberlain
yes.
College of Nursing. Where is that found?
So that is in Illinois. So when I left Jacksonville, I went back to Illinois and I got a job at the University of Chicago Medical Center.
Wow.
That's when I enrolled into the master's program.
Was that your first job in the United States?
No,
Okay, you had done all that.
I'd worked before, so
Okay.
yes.
Interesting.
But that was my first job now as a registered nurse.
Okay.
So I worked there for a little bit, for about a few months, and I enrolled into the master's program.
That was in Chicago, right?
Yes,
Yes,
in
I can
Illinois.
see here you were in charge. You were a charge nurse in the multi-specialty,
Yes.
orthopedic, plastic, burn, urology, gene, oncology, medical, surgical, telemetry,
Yes.
unit. You also supervised and participated with the director of nursing and the manager in establishing specific goals, determining work procedures, and ensuring compliance with all operating policies and procedures.
That's correct, yes.
Wow. This
I
is
did
great.
quite a lot while I was in the University of Chicago for a few years, and in the course of doing all that, I was
Yeah.
also doing my master's program as a nurse executive.
At the same time.
Yes.
My goodness.
Yes.
Before we continue, I want you to comment on this statement. The first says you ensured staffing was in place.
Yes.
You assigned and directed unit, pool, and agency staff. What does that entail?
So basically, as a charge nurse,
Okay.
it was your role to make sure that the staff was enough in the unit. So sometimes nurse is my calling, and you as a charge nurse, it's your responsibility to figure out how to replace someone, which agency to call. Because when we don't have the in-house nurses, we need to contact agencies to be able to send us nurses to fill up. And if I can't get one, then I had to play the role of the nurse
Wow.
on the
That
floor.
on that day.
Yes.
My
So yes. So like things happen, and you just have to fill in and make sure that the hospital runs smoothly as
Okay.
much. Yes.
That's a serious function, eh?
Yes.
And then you reviewed schedules to place unassigned floats.
Yeah. So sometimes when you might have more nurses in the unit and we've had more discharges, right? So when we have a lot of discharges, then there is room for for us to limit the number of nurses. Instead of me sending a nurse home, I look at the unit that is short of staff. For instance, if there's a unit that's short of staff, I will assign a nurse to float to that unit so they can help out over there, just so you don't go back home and maybe not get paid, right? So yes, so that's making sure all of that stays in place.
That's interesting. You assure adequacy, availability of resources, making sure policies and procedures are followed.
Yes.
So you have to make sure supervise.
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
finally, you find the role of the floor staff nurse in terms of staffing.
That's
So
right. Yes.
this is great. So that was in Chicago.
Yes.
Then from there you moved to
Maryland.
is
That's
it the
where my
Baylor All Saints Medical Center?
Baylor.
Baylor.
No, Baylor All Saints West. No, Baylor All Saints was in Texas. But from
Okay.
Chicago, I did move to Maryland for a little bit when we got married.
Okay.
My husband and I got married, and
I see. Because I wanted to take it very chronologically. So from 2011 to 13, you were in University of Chicago Medicine.
yes,
And then from 2013 to 15, you were in Baylor All Saints Medical Center.
yes, I moved to Maryland for a little bit after our wedding. Then we relocated to Texas.
Oh, okay.
The same 2013,
I
and
see.
that's when I got a job with Baylor Scott and White.
Okay, you were a
And-
charge nurse.
Yeah, I also
within the
worked there as a
medical
charge
center.
nurse, and I also worked on the floor. I did similar stuff like I did at the University of Chicago Medical Center.
Okay, quite similar.
Yes.
Okay, I
Then,
see. Then you went to Anthem and the Amerigroup Regional MMP.
yes, after acquiring my master's in as a nurse executive, I was blessed to have a job working for Anthem as a transition specialist. So I was in charge of transitioning people from hospital to their home, from their home to the hospital, from the hospital to nursing home to home, making sure that everything that they need is in place to prevent them from getting readmitted in the hospital. Because my key area was reducing readmission, which was really what I studied in my master's. So that was my specialty, how to minimize readmission in the hospital.
Wow. So that master's, you told me that master's was done at the Chamberlain College of Nursing, right? Which you said it's in Illinois, Chicago. Okay, that's interesting. Yes, I have here quite a lot which you did as a transitional. You know, many of I never knew of that before. I never knew that somebody tried to make some product come back, which is a good thing.
Yes.
It's a good thing because back home, I don't know whether we even have this now. People keep going to the hospital and it looks like they want people to keep coming more. But I'm so happy that in this situation, they want people not to come to the hospital just to see how to prevent them from getting sick.
Yes.
Wow. This is quite powerful because you said you identify patients that are high utilizers of resources in a high risk category or have a condition that is considered high cost and promote cost effective utilization of resources.
That's right.
Oh, wow. You conducted hospital and post-discharge calls while collaborating in the patient care process to assess, plan, facilitate, coordinate. Wow. You provided support care, engaging in key community care. This is quite powerful. You did a lot, eh? A lot.
Right.
So that was from 2015 to 20. Then from 2018 to present, you did some investment advisory activities.
That's correct.
Yes, that's tell us how you switch now from nursing to investment advisor representative.
Yes. So while working as a
Yes.
nurse,
Yes.
my husband, an electrical engineer on the other hand,
Yes, from Germany. He specialized in Germany.
yes, so he came here, did his postgraduate degree and everything. So we made reasonable income, but then, you know, when you start making money, you want to invest. So we start talking to
I'm sorry.
I have a pollen.
My dear
Outside.
viewers, there's a pollen outside here just going around the air and contaminating the breathing system. So please bear with Mrs. Verra.
Yes.
So before talking about that, how did you meet your husband?
So we met in Yaoundé.
Yes,
When I came
you
here,
had said that already.
we finally moved from Germany to the US.
Okay.
So that's when we got married.
That's it.
Yes.
That's it. So you got married, and this idea of investing came about. That's what I was talking at the introduction. That you are very interested in helping individuals.
Yes. So when we moved to Texas, we were making good income and we wanted to invest.
Okay.
So we talked to a few people, put money in the wrong places, and we lost a lot of money. And in the course of that, I started asking myself, like, how is it that other people do this and they don't lose money? What is it that they're doing differently? So the more I research and ask questions, the more answers I got, the more I realized if I didn't know this and I made all these mistakes, how many people don't know this? So now I felt like I needed to go out and impact lives of others. I needed to make a difference. So my husband and I talked about it and decided to acquire all the degrees that I needed.
Yes, I can see some certifications here.
Yes.
Certified case manager.
No, that's when I was a nurse. I did all that, working as a nurse. But then I now went further to get my life and health license for the state of Texas, and also expanded to all over the United States. I also got my security series, which is series SIA series 6, 63, and 65. 65 allows you to become an investment advisor. So you can really actually advise people on their investments. And with those now in place, I was able to start building a business and helping others not make the same mistakes we made. Yes. And we've been blessed over the years. Through that, my husband was also able to leave his job. So I finally left nursing fully in 2020, July of 2020. And just to focus on building our business in finance, because I started thinking a lot, like everybody uses money. It's like money is everything around our life. But how many of us really understand how money actually works, right? Because just using money is not enough. Understanding how to make sure, because money is not how much you earn, so most of the time it's how much you get to keep. And how do you plan your life around that so you can live the life and the future? And how do you be able to, how do other people create generation of wealth? How do they pass on this generation of wealth? How is it possible that others can and others cannot?
So this is very important because somebody said one time that it's not about how many millions you have, it's how you manage it.
That's right. That's right. So learning how to manage our own money gave me the ability to help others manage theirs too. And now I engage into having now I left nursing so we could focus on building. And within the years of us building our business from 2020 all the way through 2023, we built a business with over close to 3,500 associates in our organization, with about more than 1,000 of them licensed.
Wow.
So we didn't only focus on us, but we gave the opportunity to so many to go out and impact the lives of so many, right? And because of that, we're blessed. Because we blessed others, we got blessed financially as well. So we did pretty well financially while doing that. And yes, so.
So tell me about these two licenses which you did after. How long was the duration to do this license of life and health security? You know. By the way, let me first congratulate you for your quest for knowledge. You know, you never get tired of studying.
Exactly.
Switching, and you're always there.
Yes.
And you were comparing it to this. Is it which tree was that?
A eucalyptus tree.
Yeah. Could you share that anecdote?
Okay. So, growing up, we used to have those very tall trees.
Yeah.
You call them the eucalyptus trees. Okay. Sometimes when you go to like the village, you see those trees growing, and you realize in their path there's usually something that might block them.
Okay.
But because it's a eucalyptus tree, nothing can stop it. So it's still gonna grow past it. So I used to say, in life, the roof where we are, each of us are created as eucalyptus trees. Unless we decide to limit ourselves, our abilities are limitless. And you can't limit us if we choose to grow above it. So if you if you plant a eucalyptus tree in a house, it's gonna still grow past the roof. Even if there's a roof and windows, it will figure a way to get out of that house and go outside. So that's just about life and everything else. You have to continue to quest for better. You have to continue to, which drives me to the point of I told you about the business we already built,
Yeah.
how big it was, and also doing pretty well financially, making close to $2 million a year.
Yeah.
But my husband and I realized where we were was limiting us. We wanted to go out and do more. We wanted to do more than what we're capable of doing. And we decided to move on to something new. So we left our previous company where we were building through that and everything else, and then started over with a new company which we're so excited. They call it the Global Financial Impact.
I see.
And
Global Financial Impact, yes.
Global Financial Impact, GFI. So it's been such a blessing for us. My husband came on board with Global Financial Impact in January of this year, and I finally joined him fully for us to build this last month, which was May of this year, May 2024. So the ride has been so exciting so far, and we just look forward to how much of an impact we're going to bring now, not just limiting ourselves to the United States or Canada, but going global. Global to every part of the world. Being able to go to Mexico. We are already approved to do business in Mexico. Going to Africa. Going to Europe, right? Touching every part of the world. That's where we are right now.
This is so amazing. And I'm so touched by this statement. Our abilities are limitless.
Yes.
Wow. So what drives you? What drives you to, yes, we have abilities, but what drives you to keep persisting? Which power is, can you tell us what drives you to have this hope in yourself?
So, I talked about my parents at the beginning, and I saw how determined my dad was. My dad actually, even though he was an electrician, like I talked about, owned his own business, at one point he was in politics. He actually got out and fought for Southern Cameroon's independence, right? He was one of those pioneer leaders that fought for the independence of Southern Cameroon when many people never even knew there was anything like Southern Cameroon. Like, I was still a little girl, and my dad would travel the world trying to travel the world, South Africa, other parts of Africa, to talk to people about what has happened in Cameroon, how the Anglophones have been marginalized, and how he's calling on the international body to support and help, intervene and make a difference. So that was even when no one knew nothing about what is going on, right? So you could see that I didn't just come from nowhere. I came not just from a royal family, but from someone who is a fighter.
Who is an intellectual.
Intellectual, a fighter who believes in what they can achieve and what they can help to make a difference. So we were raised up in that environment of always wanting to make an impact, always wanting to make a difference. So to me, my greatest drive is that willingness, that inner
power in you.
Like, we have to make a difference. And then secondly, when I look at my kids, I tell myself, if I fail in something, what am I telling them?
What are you
Because
teaching them?
they watch me. They see what mommy is doing. And if I want my kids to be successful, just like when I talk about my parents, right? How much my mom was such an impact in my life. She wanted me to, she'll take me to go to make clothes. She'll take me with her to go shopping, to show me how I can shop when I was so little, right? I used to make clothes. I used to do hair, all this stuff, because my mom wanted me to be super independent. And I saw her doing those things. So I want to be that to my kids as well. I don't want them to feel like, oh, mommy, when it was hard, mommy just stopped. Is it easy all the time?
No. It's not.
But because I know that I am not only a silent mentor to my kids, there are a lot of people out there that look up to me. Sometimes I go on YouTube and I see videos that people put on me, and I see views, right? Millions, thousands. And I'm asking myself, if those people are looking, that tells you you're a silent mentor to so many. And if you fail, then you've not only failed yourself or your immediate family, but you failed the world. So that is my drive. That's the reason I wake up every day. That's the reason we're going to keep doing this, impacting life, changing lives until we can no longer break.
No, you are a mentor to me as far as being positive and optimistic. You are so positive, so joyful, You radiate that joy.
Thank you.
And I think that's what we need in the world. We need people who make the world a joyful place. Because the world is already so problems every day. If everybody can just be joyful to one another,
I agree.
we are going to be happy to live on earth.
Yes.
This is just so powerful. Powerful. The difference you are making, and you've made to thousands and countless people.
That's right.
Tell us about. By the way, you have an RN, you have an MSN. Could you please elucidate what those terms mean? RN is
registered nurse.
Okay, and
so,
yes.
And a master's in science in nursing.
Okay.
So I had my registered nursing as a bachelor's in nursing. After you get your bachelor's in nursing degree, I did a license called a registered nursing license. That's what allows you to work as a nurse. Then my master's in nursing in science degree was more for my nurse executive license. So become a nurse executive, so I could do more in the executive life. Yes.
You've got just a lot of academic qualifications. This CCM, Certified Case Manager, that was what you did as a nurse, right? It's part of nursing.
Yes. So to be able to carry on, you as a transition specialist and all the stuff you did, you also need to be certified as a case manager to understand what you need to do in those fields, right? Because I dealt with in-house hospital as well as people from their home to nursing transition units and all those other areas. So yes.
So what about the RUG? It's Resource Utilization Group Certified.
Yes, so it's just an additional certification that helps you with utilization, because the focus, like I said, utilization of healthcare resources, helping people not to waste health resources. That's like when we talk about utilization, how do I prevent people from readmission? How do I limit readmissions? How do I make sure that people are actually using the health resources that are provided to them the right way and not just taking advantage of the system, right? Yes. So
wow, interesting. And finally, BLS, Certified in Telemetry and Basic Life Support.
Yes. So that's basically, when you have to monitor people on the monitor, when patients get into the monitor, you need to know what you're looking at. How do you know to read the heart rates and all that? So that was more when I was in the acute unit.
Oh, wow. You are just tremendous. You just had contributed a lot in life and in society. I'm admired. I'm not admired. I'm totally amazed by these studies you've done, and I think it's a great encouragement for our viewers, the young girls. I don't know where you are, Africa, Cameroon, Asia. It is possible.
Yes,
it is possible if you have this quest, as we have rightly seen in Mrs. Verra Mbinglo. Now, I want us to go to this important point of helping individuals, families, and business understand their financial situation. Now, let us assume these viewers who are listening to us, if they want to understand their financial situation, what do they have to do from your many studies? And
so, like at the beginning, I talked about that money is what we use all the time.
Yes.
Every single person uses money.
Yes.
Even when somebody says, I don't have any money, you get up in the morning, you take a shower, you have to pay the bills for that water, right? Yeah. So money is what keeps us going. So financial literacy is a very big issue going on in our society today.
Okay.
And when I think about it, one of the key areas that we focus on when it comes to what we do is long-term planning. Long-term planning in cases of education. When you have a new baby, you don't wait for them to get to high school before you start saving for college.
No.
You need to start saving when they are born and planning ahead. You don't wait till you get to the age of 63, then you start saving for retirement.
No.
This is something that you need to do ahead of time in your life, because it's an aspect of compounding. We come from a society where we believe, you know what, I can build all these houses and I retire and then I'll be living in the house, right? But we have to remember, retirement, you have to have what they call cash flow. Cash flow is what you need to sustain you for the rest of your life. Wow. It's not going to be that house. Most of our parents build big houses back home and everything, buy land, and then they get to retirement and they're sitting in those houses and calling us every day for money. Because they need that cash flow to pay the bills. They need those cash flow to put food on the table. They need that. So buying houses, buying lands, and all this is not a bad thing, but you need to plan how how you get cash flow that continues to come in for the rest of your life in retirement.
Wow.
So I always tell people,
Yeah.
start thinking at this point, like, if I get to retirement, how much money do I need to be receiving every single month or every year in my life, right?
Yeah.
When do I want to retire? Because that's a question that some people didn't even ask themselves. They think retirement is age, but it's actually not age.
Okay.
It's when you believe you're comfortable. It's how much money you have saved. It's not the age. Some people think, oh, I'll retire at 65 because the government tells me I retire at 65. Retirement should not be 65. It's more about getting enough cash flow that will sustain you for the rest of your life.
That is retirement.
And that is retirement. So when you sit now and you say, I want to retire, I'm making $100,000 a year in my retirement life, I will ask you, what do you have in place right now to make sure you get that? It doesn't have to be till you get to the age of 65. You can still work hard now, save up to $1 million now. We put it in an account like an annuity that gives you interest only of 10% of $1 million. What's that going to be? If I take $1 million, put in an account that gives interest only 10% every single year, that's 100,000 interest only. And if you're only getting 100,000 of interest only, how long will you get that for? For the rest of your life. Okay. So that's retirement. Because now you know cash flow is gonna come. It's never gonna shut down. So you have to be thinking in that mindset. But most of us put money in vehicles that will not give us the type of retirement. And what do I mean by that? We invest through government retirement plans. Some of them, we call them qualified plans. But most people are not really educated about a qualified plan and how it actually works. I was speaking to a client the other day and I was telling him, you know, with your qualified plan right now, you still have to pay your taxes because this is pre-tax dollars. And he's like, that's not true. That's not the reason I was doing this. I thought the whole reason why I'm putting the money to get in the future is I'll get it all tax-free. I said, no, you have not paid your taxes yet. And then I started educating him about the fees that he was paying on that account. I started educating about the fact that when you get to retirement, you start taking distribution, you can only take so much, and remember the money is still invested in the market, which means whatever you anticipate getting in retirement might not be that much. Because as long as money is in the market, we have no control over it. Something happens that there's a crash in the stock market, you can lose everything. And that will be your retirement savings, right? And he was like, this is really new to me. And I told him, there's actually a video on YouTube called the 401k 4 Out. Check it out. Watch it for yourself and see what happened to people that didn't know the stuff you don't know right now, right? So when we sit down with individuals, our goal is to educate them. So even if you choose to go this route, you know the difference. You know there are better options. There are other vehicles that can give you better return and guarantee income, cash flow for the rest of your life in retirement, which comes to whenever you decide you want to retire. So your funding will be based on that.
Wow. This is just outstanding. This is great. So retirement is not age. It's when you have enough money saved.
Yes.
Wow. Did you guys hear that? This is a new thing for me, and it's just very logical, and it makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
Wow.
I don't know.
Wow. So now I would like you to talk to us about insurance.
Okay.
You know, at times I meet many people out there. They say, "What is the best insurance? Who should I consult?" Now we have an expert right here.
That's right.
We have an expert right here. Please, if you she's going to, her email is mbingv@yahoo.co.uk, and she can also be contacted by a number. I think
that's
so.
right.
She could
Yes.
give us a number.
Yeah, my phone number is 773-746-7333.
Can you take it again?
773-746-7333.
So my dear friends, that's I think that's a WhatsApp.
That's WhatsApp as well as my direct phone number.
Good, so she can be contacted from any part of the world. Just go to WhatsApp and contact Mrs. Verra Mbinglo to learn about insurance.
Yes.
I want you to tell us, you know, back home we don't have insurance. I never had one before.
That's right.
So tell us about it and why it is important.
So
Please.
when we talk about insurance, it's a broad term, okay? There are all different type of insurance. There's home insurance, there's car insurance, there is
Life
there's
insurance.
life insurance. There's so many areas of insurance. But the most interesting thing is people are so fast in making sure they have car insurance, they have home insurance, they have insurance on all these things, on equipments in their home and all that. But then they don't have insurance in the one thing that is most important.
Their life.
Their life. It's
Wow.
so funny. And the reason for that is because what I've come to realize is they are not mandated to do that.
Oh,
For
okay.
instance,
That's
if you don't have insurance on your car, the police is
the
going
police
to
will
stop you,
and
right?
you get into trouble.
If you don't have insurance on your life, they don't care. But then, who drives the car?
You and you are
So
the
you're
life.
insuring the car without insuring yourself driving the car. So when something happens to you, the car is gonna get repaired. What happens to your life or to you? That
You break your leg or something.
you break your leg or something, the car is being replaced because you bought insurance on the car.
Yes.
What happens to you?
Wow.
So who is the most important person to be insured? Is it the driver of that car or the car?
He's a driver.
Exactly.
Wow.
Because without you being the driver, that car is not gonna go anywhere.
It wouldn't go anywhere.
Absolutely. So, and this all also boils down to the misconception that people have when it comes to insurance.
Okay.
A lot of people, when they think about life insurance, they just feel that, oh, I'm getting this so I can die and someone else benefits.
Which is not the case.
Which is usually not the case, but it's still a good thing. Because if you, insurance is not about you dying, it's about the fact that the people you love are gonna live. So even if you're buying it so that the people that are gonna live will not be on the street, homeless, and you're not gonna leave a mess behind, it's still a good thing, right? But it's not the only reason why people should get life insurance, or the only reason why people get life insurance anymore. There's been an advancement in life insurance.
Wow.
There are multiple different types of life insurance. So I'm going to talk about a few. I'm going to list them out so you know the different types. So we have what they call group life.
Okay.
Group life insurance is the insurance you get through your job. Like your employer gives it to you in a group setting. So if you have a job, they have an insurance, you can enroll in that plan. But then you always have to remember it's only once you're employed. Because if you stop being employed,
You lose it.
you don't have it anymore. Then we have what they call term life. Group life is some kind of term because it's temporary based on your employment time. And then when you retire, you don't have it anymore too. Unless you're gonna go get like an individual permanent,
Right.
which is usually very expensive at that point because you're much older.
Wow.
Then we have a term life. Term life, most people buy for a term period. It could be for many reasons. Sometimes people buy term life, like if they have a 30-year mortgage, they buy term life insurance to protect them for 30 years. So if I die within the 30 years, it should be enough money for my parents to pay off, my kids to pay off the house, or my spouse to pay off the house and take care of the things that matter. Or if the kids are still going to school,
Yes.
and you know, oh, they still have about another 15 years of education. You can get a 15-year term just to make sure, well, if my
Something
kids,
happens.
to me,
Yeah.
my kids can really go to the school I want them to go to, right? And the good thing about the term life, as much as it's a temporary thing, it's very affordable.
Okay.
Most people can afford it.
Yes.
And not only because it's affordable, there's been a lot of advancement in the term life world. Excuse me.
It's okay, please.
One of the great things that has happened in recent years is companies now do term life with living benefits. What do I mean by living benefit? That means you don't necessarily need to die for the policy to pay out. You could get sick, and then when I say sick, it needs to be something critical, something chronic, which might impact you from going to work. So we consider it as a way of replacing your income. So your family don't have to suffer. Your house still get paid, the bills get paid, there's a roof over the head of your kids. They can still go to school, right? So you can get that even while you're sick.
Yes.
Because most of the time it was people figure that when you get the term life and you got sick and you couldn't make any more payments because maybe you're not working anymore,
Yeah.
you lose your policy. And the reason why you got that policy was if God forbid something happens to me. By the time something happens,
Yes.
your family has nothing anymore, even though you've been paying it for a few years.
Wow.
But now, adding the living benefit onto it has made a big difference. In the sense that you do not necessarily have to die
Okay.
by just being sick.
Sick.
you can get money out of that that can still help take care of the things that matters, right?
Wow.
So that's the second type of life
Yes,
insurance.
term,
Yes.
group, and the third?
Yes. So there's term, then there's which has no living benefit, and term with living benefit. So if
Okay.
you're out there and you have a term life policy,
Yes.
and if it doesn't have living benefit, that's one of the reasons you should reach out. Let's see how we can get you something with living benefit attached to it that won't cost you any more than what you're currently paying, right? And then we have what they call whole life.
Whole life.
Yes.
Wow.
So whole life now comes in and it covers you for the rest of your life. Normally when they say rest of your life, they're thinking of 100 years. So you
Wow.
live to 100 years,
Yes.
you're protected to 100 years. So the premium are much higher, but then it will allow you to know that, okay, I have coverage for life. And
Okay.
sometimes it allows you to be able to save money in it. So it sometimes grows some level of cash value that can pass on.
Okay.
Then,
Wow.
with that in mind, people used to feel like, you know what, the death benefit is pretty level, and when I take a cash value out of my whole life, I lose some of the money. So now the insurance company then advanced to something we call universal life. Universal life allows people to be able to do what they call increasing or level death benefit.
Wow.
Increasing means you can take the cash value and the death benefit will grow together. So once you're growing cash value, that money gets added onto your death benefit, right?
Wow.
And then it gives you a fixed rate of return just like in a whole life.
Okay.
And if you want a level, the level one just gives you a level rate of return.
Yes.
And with that, most people didn't like the idea that if I want to grow my money more, I want to invest more.
Yeah.
What could I do differently? Then they came up with what? Variable universal life. They
Okay.
call those the VUL. Variable means now they allow you who wants to take risk with your cash value in your life insurance to invest directly in the stock market.
I see.
But that was very risky because people would do that, then there was a crash in the market,
Yeah.
and then their policies become at risk. And in the evolution of that, it came the final phase where we are right now. They call it the indexed universal life,
Wow.
which is more like a hybrid.
Okay.
A hybrid of a fixed rate of return and a variable rate of return,
Yes.
which allows you to grow your money, taking advantage of market growth, but when the market goes down, you don't lose any money.
I see.
So your money continues to grow in there. So a lot of wealthy people use that as a vehicle to save for retirement because they have guaranteed floor of zero, which means no matter what happens in the market, your money is secure.
Secure.
At the same time, you have this cash flow that grows when the market goes up and allows you to be able to build and save for your retirement while
see.
still being protected. And because it's the final phase, they added everything that was good in all the other policies. Like the living benefits comes with it. So if you get sick,
Mm-hmm.
you can access some money out of it. They also brought in long-term care.
Okay.
Before there was long-term care insurance, which were like standalone.
Yes.
This company then added long-term care as a rider onto this policy to allow you to be able to access some of the money when you get older in your life and you need long-term care and stuff like that. So there's been a continuous growth and evolution whereby people need to remember life insurance is not only about dying anymore.
Okay.
It is a vehicle to save for your retirement.
Mhm.
It's a vehicle where you can save for your children for college. It is a vehicle where you can just make sure that you have something in, God forbid you get sick, critically, chronically, or you get a long-term care situation. Long-term care can happen by just you driving, right?
Yeah.
You get out on the street, you get into a serious accident. Guess what? You might end up losing your limb or your hand, something. And you didn't die, but now you can't take care of yourself independently. You're gonna need someone to do that.
Okay.
And for any other person, like your family members, to give up everything to take care of you, they're gonna need some source of income to be able to provide you the care. Maybe just putting gas in the car to your doctor's appointment, putting a roof over your head. That's where your long-term care comes in. That money will be paid to your family, 2%, 4%, depending on how much it is, to take care of those stuff while you are getting better.
This is absolutely important, especially in this country.
Yes.
Wow. Thank you so much for explaining to us this different type of insurance. Wow, this is really, really admirable. Different type of insurance you mentioned, and tell us about you spoke about financial education. You spoke about estate planning and management, asset protection.
Yes.
How can you protect your assets?
So, most of the time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with what they call probate. Growing up in Africa,
yes, I heard about probate.
We used to have
Yes.
probate too.
Okay.
So it's a popular thing.
Yes.
When you pass away, if you don't have all your things in order,
Uh-huh.
they can freeze up your assets,
Oh.
right? And sometimes they'll freeze up your assets and it has to go through probate court. Your family, not only dealing with the loss of a loved one,
Yeah.
they're going to be looking for a lawyer to go to court and plead with the judge to unfreeze your assets. So sometimes your assets become
For
locked up while your
yeah,
family
they're
needs to
frozen.
frozen, they freeze up your assets, and your family needs money for funeral. They need money for this, right? So we try to educate people about the importance of asset protection, being able to make sure that you put your resources in a place where they cannot get frozen, right?
Yeah.
So the family can be able to access it in a
Access it.
case where, God forbid, something were to happen to you.
Wow.
And when we talk about estate planning,
Yes.
I lost my parents. I lost my mom after a year of coming to the United States, which was really hard.
Oh.
And in 2011, I lost my dad.
Oh my God.
So, thank you. So one thing that really dawned on me was my mom never had a will. And it's so difficult when you pass on and your family don't know what your wishes might have been.
It's really sad.
It is. And it's important that people understand the importance of having wills and trust.
Okay.
Just letting your loved ones know in writing, this is what I would like you guys to do with my body. I want to be buried here.
Okay.
I want to be, maybe you can even talk about how you want your funeral to be. Sometimes those things take away so much from a family. And no, that is not the type of thing we want to talk about.
Yeah.
Most of us don't want to even hear that we can die.
Exactly.
But the reality is, as long as you're born, you're going to die. But what we don't get is, we have the date of birth, but we don't know our date of death because someone else will write that date.
Wow.
But why give that person not only why give them so much more than just writing that date? Which you could have made it easy by just getting some things put in place. Just letting them know. I've seen families torn apart because there was no will, there was no trust. They are fighting over property, they are fighting over, and then siblings live behind and they don't talk to each other. They are basically trying to kill each other because of the things that could have been avoided. There was a will in place. So when we sit down with families, we educate them about how important it is to have a will, how important it is to put a trust in place, so that those things are already accounted for. You know which child you want to do this, which child should do that, and who do you think will be good to. Because sometimes even when you pass away prematurely, you won't want your children to just be with anybody.
Exactly.
Sometimes just you knowing this person will be better suited. So the family will not be fighting, trying to tell the children apart, take this one that way, that one. You can put that down and God and hope they'll respect that, right?
Yes.
And it just takes away a lot of the stress, yes.
Wow. So you do that also, you try to orientate people on how to do that.
Yes, and we get them set up for those. We set up those wheels for them, and it's free too. So if you get some of the protection plans with us, like even just a term life insurance allows you to have a free will and trust.
Okay.
And we guide you through the process of getting that in place, and all of those are enforceable by law, right? So you know, okay, my kids will be okay.
This is just so powerful, to hear. So many of us, as you said, back home we don't talk about death. It's something, it's a no-talk area. Meanwhile, it's unavoidable.
It is.
So what advice are you giving to our viewers that they should get in contact with you and they should, most of the times most of us think, oh, I'm still young, I'm 30. Why should I be riding a wheel now?
Yeah.
What advice would you give to people like that who want to only be 80 before they ride a wheel?
Exactly. And when you just said you're still young, you're 30, it just hit on me that I was speaking to my sister, my older sister, Angeline. She's in business with me. She's an attorney, but she's also doing what I do right now.
Okay.
And she was just telling me how her classmate friend just lost his younger brother at the age of 30.
Oh.
And she told me this little guy
Yeah.
came back from playing soccer with his friends, went upstairs, and they were expecting their dad to come back from the hospital because the dad has been down, and they heard a loud noise upstairs. When they went upstairs, they realized he was not breathing. They brought him downstairs, did CPR and everything, and he was gone, just like that. And it just hit me like, you can never be too young.
To die.
You can never be too young. When we say prepare is, just imagine the chaos now that is happening with this family. I can imagine them thinking, maybe this is what they would have wanted. Maybe this is what we should have done, right?
Yeah.
So doing those little things is not about you.
Yeah.
Even just protecting yourself, don't think you're too young. Because God forbid something happens to you, your family still needs to do a funeral. Where's the money gonna come from? It costs money to do a funeral. It costs money to be able to do all the stuff that comes with you passing away. Even getting rid of your stuff is gonna cost money. Right? So protecting yourself is not just
Sorry. Sorry. Our gas cutter is there again. That's why you see the poles. The poles are all around the place. Sorry about that. Okay. So we're going to be back again, my friends. Sorry. Go. So my dear viewers, we have had a wonderful time with Mrs. Verra Mbinglo. She has, in fact, we learned a lot about her parkour from a humble origin in Seoul, and then she did her school education in Leeds, then she went to Yaoundé, and finally Chicago, and she's now a financial advisor, you know. So I would like to thank you so much for this time which you gave to me and to us, all the viewers worldwide, to be able to learn a lot, especially the instrument, the wheel, and the asset protection. Thank you so much. Do you have any last words before we conclude? Viewers,
guys.
we are having
We have a lot of
serious pollen around, so I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. So I want to thank you so much for,
Oh, actually,
I'm sorry for taking this time to do this interview with me. It means a lot.
No, you made it.
Yes. So and I want to thank the viewers that are gonna watch this tomorrow. Please.
Sorry. The pollens are really, this is really the season, you know, people get infected, so bear with us, please.
Yes. Please do not limit yourself. We've been created with so much within us.
Yes.
If you're somebody that's thinking financial field is what I should do, please do it.
Yep.
If you want to be a doctor, don't let anyone else tell you otherwise.
Yes, you can be.
You got what it takes in you to do whatever you want to be in this life.
Wow.
Believe in yourself, but make sure you take care of yourself and the people you care about. With that,
I see. So she has said, in conclusion, she has said, believe in yourself, believe in your potentials, and take care of yourself and others. That's the most important thing that we take from here today. And one other important thing, it's not about how much you earn, it's about how you save. And retirement is not about age, it's about how much you have saved. Thank you so much, Mrs. Verra Mbinglo. It was an honor to be with you, and may God bless you always. Thank you.